Oh, thank you. ใจร้อน Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Today is Thursday, October 21st. It is 8:44 a.m. We're going to do a short stream today because I have a little meet up with Professor Billy, the professor of espresso, Mr. Billy. And so I'm going to keep it short, but I found a little something today that I wanted to go over. Richard, hey, thank you very much. What a way to start the morning. Appreciate that. Choke knee to you. I haven't talked to Chucky since the last, well, I guess, I don't know when it was, yesterday, day before yesterday. But I will. I will soon. And he says hello as well. So, all right, let me see here. Before I go on, I want to thank all the people who sponsor my website through YouTube and who are members on my website, and also through Patreon, and also through Super Chats, and also through PayPal, whatever. Appreciate it. Please leave a thumbs up, subscribe. The end. Now, today, the Thai baht is 33.36 to the dollar. I'd like to see it a little bit higher. Who wouldn't? 71 AQI, air quality index. Right now it's 82 degrees. It looks like it's going to rain. There's a 30% chance of rain. High at 90, low at 79. The feel like temperature is 93 right now, and 85% humidity. Winds coming from the south, 1 mile an hour. I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to change the stream from 9 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And I don't know what that means for the, I don't know what that means for the 50 or 100. Maybe what I need to do is just bring my freaking tripod with me. I keep saying, oh, I'm not going to stream, I'm not going to stream. Then I start looking at something, I go, I want to talk about this. Part of me knows I'm going to stream, but anyway, let's see if I can do this here. I may change the stream to 8 o'clock, and I'd like to know people's thoughts on that, whether it's in the chat here or in the comments. It'll be a little bit earlier in the U.S. I think that's a good thing. Some people, they got to go to bed. They don't have time to listen to me jabber on. Let's see if I can get this thing set up the way I want it to. That'll do. But yeah, I'd like to know, please let me know in the chat. Duke Newcomb, Richard, anybody else watching, let me know what you think. 8 o'clock, does it matter to you? Does it not matter? Most people don't really care, but for some people, like Longhorns, when he's back home, it does matter. Yeah, I may do that. And I know everybody says it's up to me, but I'm trying to get your feedback, and if I have to do it my way, I will, which is I'll just do it at 8 o'clock and see what happens. But I thought I would ask, and maybe I'd get a response or two. Right now, this place is almost empty. We got Miss Mook and Miss Beer working today. Other than that, it's empty, and I don't think it'll be empty for long. They told me that it's going to be very busy today. Thursday's a busy day. So, for what that's worth. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is I came across in my emails yesterday an expat experience survey from Aetna, the healthcare provider. And well, if I did what I do what makes me happy, yeah. Well, I'm a giver. I always try to help others. But what I was going to say is that I came across this expat survey, and take it with a grain of salt. But I thought some of the aspects of becoming an expat, not only with relation to Thailand, but relation just to moving abroad, just to being an expat, were interesting. And I've actually got 2 years. They come out every 2 years. They come out 2018, 2020, so it should be out in 2022 at some time. But the 2021 has a little bit of the COVID built in. The 2018 obviously doesn't. So let me just go over this. Some of the first questions that they ask are, what aspects of moving abroad did you find the most difficult? And the most difficult aspect is missing home, family, and friends. And I'm pretty much past that myself. I'm past that. I'm long past that. I mean, I miss my family, but I'm used to it now. You do get used to it. Then the next one is working/employment. That's always difficult. Cost of living, that's not difficult here. And then it is cultural and social differences. So some people have a real hard time with that. And again, for the most part, I gotta fix this thing. For the most part, I'm pretty much over that. I'm over the whole cultural differences. But I'm curious to know, obviously, if you're a tourist, it's a bit different than if you're an expat. But I know there's a lot of people that come into the stream that and into the chat that they're planning on moving here, or they come here half the year and then they go back. So I'm that's something else that I'm curious about is, where do you fall? Where are you? Healthcare is one, housing, moving, physical, that's very low actually. Moving and physical relocation. Now it has paperwork and visas, and that is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's number 7 out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Out of 12. It's number 7 out of 12. So for most people, that's not all that big of a deal. I had a girlfriend, pro member, she said, treat son like a baby. Now he's 25, does not know how to be met. I had a girlfriend, I don't understand that. She treats her son like a baby. Now he's 25, does not know how to be a man. Well, I'm sure that happens a fair amount, and that's maybe part of the problem nowadays. I don't know. Hopefully, my kids will be able to take care of themselves. They're pretty good at it now. I mean, they get around, they can go wherever they need to go, do whatever they have to do, and, they know how to cook a little bit and stuff like that, so, oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I have to tell my wife sometimes, what are you doing? Let him do it himself. It's like they have chores. And they've always had chores. Since they were very little, they've had chores. Which was surprising to several people in the neighborhood. They were like, oh, I can't believe your boys take the garbage out and they do the dishes. I never do the dishes. They do the dishes. This is their responsibility. If I cook or my wife cooks, they got to do the dishes. That's the deal. They have to take the garbage out. They have responsibilities. They need to clean the room, need to pick up after the dog. They have to feed the dog, feed the cat, and all that kind of stuff. I admire people who follow their dreams. Sometimes it works out, sometimes not. But you never know if you don't give it a go. Exactly. And I think that there are quite a few people, and I could relate this to me in another fashion, and that is, okay, I did it when I was single, when I was alone. Well, I wasn't single. I broke up with my girlfriend because I didn't think it was going anywhere, and I was like, I really wanted to do this. I wanted to move to Thailand. But now is a different time now, obviously, because I have a family. So for some people who have a family, it's very difficult for them to move. For me to move back to the United States that's a difficult task for me. To move somewhere else would be difficult also. But, to another country would be difficult. But it could be done, but it would be difficult. However, moving inside of Thailand is doable, or at least moving part-time is doable. And we've thought about it several times, and we're still thinking about it. And I'll tell you why now. For me, it's about my health. I want fresh air. I'm getting tired of this, the weather, the traffic, and just, so at some point maybe that'll happen, and the boys are getting old enough. But so that's in a sense the same thing. It's you got to take the chance and say, okay, I'm gonna go for it. And I do think that takes, for most people, it takes some balls to just say, you know what, I'm leaving. I'm leaving my family. I'm leaving my friends. And I know several people. There's a couple of Johns that I know. Their name is John. A couple of Johns, not like Johns. And then there's several other people that I know that have made the move. Several other people that subscribe to the channel that I've known for quite some time, that they've made the move here. And some of them I've lost track with them. Some people have gone back home. But like Jono is a perfect example. I admire the guy for having the balls to say, I'm out of here. He planned long and hard for it. And he has pretty much, I think he has the life that he wants here. And I think that's something to be admired. When you can go after something like that and you can achieve it. And, I didn't know what was going to happen when I came here. I had no idea. I thought I'd just be here for a year, maybe train a little Muay Thai, maybe have a little fun. No, not just Thai women. Maybe have listen, I always say this, but the women are the icing on the cake. If you go to a country and you're going to go, like for me, I go to a lot of countries because of boxing before, because of photography. I was shooting for magazines or writing articles or whatever it was. And I would just go over there for that, and the women they're unimportant. That's just icing on the cake, And I used to say, when I first came here, I used to say, well, listen, sometimes you want somebody there next to you to keep you a little bit warm at night. And other than that, though, it's the old adage that the Thais told me, and I've said it too many times to count here, and that is, you got somebody else in you got one person, you got one set of issues. You got two people, you got two sets of issues. Whether it's you're hanging out with your buddy and you want to go travel somewhere, or you got a girl. If you got like three girls on the hook, you got three chicks you got to worry about. They're all a little bit different, and so it takes effort. 3 of my friends followed me here, but just could not give up the American lifestyle. Well, the beauty is that if you really want to, you can have a pretty good standard of living for less. Not always a lot less, but for less. And I can tell you that the cost of living here has gone up a fair bit, and over time it's gone up a hell of a lot. So it's going to continue to go up, and that's how it is. But let me continue with this thing here. What aspects? No. Okay, mental health, homesickness, and COVID. This one's a little bit different. Do you agree with the following statement? If I could choose, I would rather live in my home country during the coronavirus pandemic. Okay. Marriage was not on my mind. Well, yeah, that's the thing, Andy. That, it takes a little getting used to that they're not exactly who you think they are. You view them one way, but their friends may view them another way, and they may view themselves a little bit differently. And they're going to do what they want to do. So at the end of the day, you got to just let go and go, okay, trust that you've done a good job with them. But let me go on with this here. Do you agree with the following statement? If I could choose, I would rather live in my home country during the coronavirus pandemic. In the UK, by about 5-1, they strongly agreed. In the US, almost 5-1, they strongly agreed. In Singapore, not so much. It was about 1.5-1. In the UAE, it was about 1.25-1. Agree versus disagree. In China, it was like 6-1. And in Thailand, it was 7-1. So for every 8 people that were polled, 7 people agreed that they'd rather be in Thailand. And I'll tell you, I would rather be here than in the United States, for sure. Okay. Choosing from the list below, which words would you use to describe how you feel about living in the country which you have moved to? All right, the most used word, I'd like to know what you guys think. What do you think the most used word describing how you feel about living in the country to which you have moved to? What is the most? There's 2 words that were the most used words when describing the destination. Nobody deleted a message. If anybody deleted anything, it was YouTube. US, not the place to be. Anybody want to guess? Gennaro. Hey, Gennaro, I have to say, I always say I don't watch many videos about Thailand, but my buddy sent me a video about Nana and 5 decades of Nana and what it's been like from the channel Bangkok Pat. And man, he did a fantastic job. And it reminded me about some things, about when things happened, and like Buckskin Joe Village. I thought it was Buckskin Village. I forgot. I did remember Soy Zero. I didn't know some of the things that they were talking about. I don't claim to be a historian here. My memory is not the greatest, but yeah, he did a fantastic job with that video. And there's a couple others of his that I'm probably going to look into, but. Yeah, some good stuff there. I mean, like I was amazed. I didn't even remember that. Which was it? Clinton Plaza, I think, closed in 2006. So that means 15 years ago. Yeah, I saw that, and actually, I may reach out to the guy and try to talk to him. I don't know where he is or what he does or anything like that. But I'm always interested in talking and boxing with people, and maybe maybe me and Billy or a couple other people, we can all meet up or something. I don't know. But anyway, it was a really good, well done video, and I learned some things, which that's the idea. All right, let me continue here. So the most used words when discussing how you feel about the country where you moved, the most used words were happy and safe, which is amazing to me. Because, we're not just talking about Thailand. Oh, he trained in Muay Thai too, huh? Well, he's kind of tall and thin from what I saw, which is the ideal body type for Muay Thai, in my opinion. But anyway, no, it's not about luck. I just disagree with that. You make your own way, It's not about luck. You need some luck, but luck happens no matter what. Hey, Go Hoppin', how you doing? Luck happens no matter what. I mean, some people have more of it than others. Sometimes you have bad luck, sometimes you have good luck, but you can't rely on luck. What is that saying? Like hard work and perseverance and determination or whatever. What's the thing? What's that phrase where where that means? It's where hard work and preparation meet. Whatever it was, I forget what it is. Let me see here. I can't remember. I said my memory's not that good. It's not. Luck is where hard work and preparation meet. I think something like that. I felt lucky to have Mexico available where they are very lax about this situation. Well, so how long have you lived there? I did see something a while back about how, when you go to a place, like when I first came here, I didn't consider myself somebody who was going to be a long-term expat or something like that. I just thought I'm going to give it a go here and see what happens, and if I stay, I stay. The word, that's the word that you use to describe being in Mexico, lucky. Okay. That word is not, good morning, Dalo. That word is not even on this list, I hate to tell you. All right, so here are the words in order of most used. Happy and safe, which I would say those are my two top words. Welcome. I feel welcome from the Thai people. Accepted, yes, by the Thai people. Okay, so if we're talking about by the locals, those words, I would agree with them. Then you have loved. Loved? Well, if I'm talking about Thai people, do I feel loved? Not really. Loved is a strong word. Then it's inspired. And let's see here. What is the other one here? Challenged, and then included. Now, some of the negative words are alienated, disappointed, isolated. I don't really feel any of those things. Hostile. Seldom do I feel, rarely do I feel like Thais are hostile. I mean, I can't even think of, trying to think, maybe one or two times in all the time I've been here, have they been hostile. Overwhelmed is another word. Inspired. Trapped. Trapped is a strong word. Because I don't really feel trapped here. Let's see, hang on. However, I do feel like I have different options available now than I did when I first came here. When you're single, you can pick up a little bag and just run. Go. Okay, I'm going to go. Hey, I'm going to pick off. I live in the Philippines. I'm going to run and go to Thailand. I live in Thailand, I'm going to go to live in Bali. I'm going to just take off. It's easy to do. When you have a family, obviously it's a little bit more difficult. Even when you have a wife or a girlfriend, they may want to go for a month or two, 3 months, maybe even 6 months. But you know, for the most part, they're gonna want to come back to Thailand and spend time with their family. They're not gonna want to be away from their family all the time. So you're gonna have to plan for that. You know, your get out of Dodge bag. You know, what I'm saying is, if you just have you know, clothes and a computer and maybe a camera and stuff like that, it's much easier just to pick up and split. You got 1 or 2 bags, maybe a laptop bag, and you just split, like I did when I came to Thailand. Travis, I have not seen anything about the additional countries. Gennaro, I've not seen anything about it. Did they come out with one? Because I haven't seen one. Yeah, so a lot of places are getting out of lockdown, which is great. I'm a little fearful that we'll go back into lockdown. It would not surprise me if we go through lockdown again here. Hey, listen, you got 46 people watching right now. Please do me a favor, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. But leaving a thumbs up doesn't cost you anything. I'd appreciate it. It supposedly helps with the algorithm. Thumbs up, thumbs down, it helps with the algorithm. Doesn't really matter. No, I have not seen anything, Gennaro. I haven't seen anything. Not yet. And this is the other issue. They want to open up on the 1st of November. Lockdown's over for a while, but supposedly all restrictions are being lifted tomorrow. Where am I here? Let me see something. I haven't seen anything about that. But the funny thing is that, and we talked about this yesterday, and it's come out already. But if you call, and Chuck called the embassy to get the requirements so that he could, because he wanted to come over here. He wanted to come over here. He was like, I got a ticket already. I'm using my miles. I got a ticket. I'm coming like November 3rd. And I go, I don't know if that's such a good idea. And so he, when he called the embassy, they didn't know anything about it. And here they are. It's the 21st of October. They don't know anything about it yet. This is how Thailand operates. It'll be. I thought that they were going to have something out yesterday or the day before. It's USA, China, Singapore, UK, and I think Germany so far. And that's it as of the last time I looked. But let me see something else here. Visiting Earth? I don't even see Visiting Earth. Where's Visiting Earth? Don't see anything. Strange. Yeah, I don't see anything here. What is this? Perks for foreigners? What? I've heard this also, but I don't know if this is necessarily a perk. Health cover perks for foreigners. Covering it to at least a minimum for non-immigrants to bolster their confidence in staying. What? The health insurance criteria has been revised. Wait a minute. Listen to this. So they're calling it a perk that they are raising the health insurance ceiling to $100,000 for non-immigrant visa OA applicants to bolster their confidence to stay in the country. The health insurance criteria has been revised for foreigners who hold a non-immigration OA for 1 year stay. The change came into effect Tuesday. Visa holders can submit an application for this health insurance from their countries. So they're calling, see, this is what I mean. This is a spin. I mean, yeah, great, it's okay, but guess who's paying for it? The foreigner. And I mean, I guess it's, this is something that is going to eventually be standard for everybody. But let me go back to this this poll here that I have. Let's go on to the next question here. The top 3 words which expats think locals might use to describe them. Wow. Friendly, welcoming, and kind. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's wrong. Friendly, helpful, and polite. Friendly being the very first one. I would say that those all apply to Thai people. The top 3 words which expats would use to describe locals: friendly, welcoming, and kind. The top 3 words which expats think locals might use to describe them: friendly, helpful, and polite. I don't know about that. But the friendly, welcoming, and kind, I would say that locals generally are friendly, welcoming, and kind. So, China are there very few, but we live in a very, it's crazy. All right, so let me get back to, I just want to finish up with this insurance thing here. So they're saying that this type of visa is granted, let me see here. This type of visa is granted to elderly people from overseas who cannot take out insurance inside of Thailand or where their insurance certificate form is not valid for the Thailand system. Taking out health insurance from foreign countries will also help reduce the issue of visa extensions, which also helps to screen foreigners traveling to Thailand. So basically what they're saying is that instead of being required, and I think John, there's a guy, John, he comes in here, John S., he had asked me this question, and now it seems pretty clear. So if you're outside of the country and you're getting your retirement visa, which is an OA visa, you are going to need, you're going to need to get $100,000 worth of insurance. Now, granted, that gives you more protection, that's great. The big deal, in their opinion, is that they're allowing international insurance coverage to be used, which I don't get that. I mean, I've been looking into insurance for quite some time now, better insurance. And what I can say is that the Thai insurance, if you want to get $100,000 worth of Thai insurance, which is like 3 million baht, it's not worth the money. You're better off getting an international company. So I don't get how they feel like this is such a great deal. Taking out health insurance from foreign countries could also help the issue of visa extensions. So yeah, that's what it is now. So if you want to get your extension from, it's More to follow. The move is to follow the government's policy to promote health tourism and turn Thailand into a global medical hub. See, none of this makes sense to me because it's already been a medical hub for quite some time. I never get their logic. I never do, and it's not my place. I mean, I just don't understand it. But obviously, they do whatever they want. It's not like I'm going to tell them what to do. So. But I don't understand it. It was already a medical hub. I think it is, Gennaro. That's what I did in the past. In the past, I got my visa from inside of the country. Less headaches. But anyway, what are you going to do? How expats think locals would describe them. Percentage of regional responses that were negative. Expats think, okay, so how expats think locals would describe them. And here are the percentages of negative responses. In the UK, the expats think the locals would, 30% in the UK and the US think that they would be described as negative. Singapore, it's 22%. Thailand is 21%. Good morning. I got 4 people here now working here. 4 people working here and three customers. China. China's about 17.5% of the expats think that locals would describe them in a negative fashion. Wow. China lower than Thailand? Am I missing something here? I mean, how is it that Westerners in China, there are less Westerners in China that think locals will say bad things about them than in Thailand? Is anybody listening to this? Is anybody picking this up here? How is that possible? I would swear that the Chinese, they don't want the guilo, the falang. They don't want them in their country. And they don't want them here even more than like the Thai government doesn't want foreigners here in Thailand. That's what it says though. Mental health and COVID. To what extent has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted your mental health? Now, let me get back to this. This is, I will put this up in a second. This is Etna, of all places. JRD, how long have you been in Thailand, or have you ever been to Thailand? I'm just curious. It's a question. There you go, Steve. Etna. Okay. I mean, like, have you lived here, or have you just visited a couple times, or what's the deal? The reason I'm asking is because most people who have been here for a fair period of time, they know that there's a very contentious relationship between the Thai government and many expats. There's a somewhat, they know they need you, but they don't really want you. I mean, they don't want to make it too easy for the foreigners, but they, sometimes they make it more difficult and give them more paperwork. Just maybe it's not done, with any malicious intent. That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking what the rationale is, not if they like or don't like foreigners. That is fairly clear. Well, that's the thing about the rationale. There is none. Their rationale, honestly, is probably they don't want this country being overrun by foreigners. They are xenophobic. Steve, I know you know a fair bit about this as well. You know what? Beer. Can I have an orange juice? Can I have orange juice? Download, thank you very much. Choke D. I had a coffee. I'm going to have an orange juice right now. ยูจะคุยกับแฟนก็ได้ไม่เป็นไรเขาจะให้เงินผมไม่ได้ให้อะไร She's always like if it's 100 baht she's like okay 1,000 baht tip no I should tell your boyfriend to give you that oh shit she said watch your mouth she's telling me watch my mouth Thank you, Dallo. Choke D. She's adamant about no boyfriend. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. It really doesn't matter to me. There's something that they don't tell you about is that there's a lot of Thai girls now that they're working. They don't want some guy to be there. If you're coming here for a girlfriend, forget about it. Sometimes you can get one, sometimes you don't. But a lot of them, they want their freedom. They want to do what they want to do. Consider that foreign women who marry Thai men get residency, no problem. And the same cannot be said on the flip side. It's not quite as easy for men, I don't think. Okay, I want to get back to this thing here. What extent has COVID-19 pandemic impacted your mental health? Suffers with mental health, 36.3%. Does not suffer with mental health, 41.8%. It says the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted my mental health, 36.3%. The pandemic has seriously impacted my mental health, 32%. So almost 70% of people have been impacted by it. And I would say, it's impacted everyone in my family. I mean, not to the point where we're out of our heads or anything, but, we're all frustrated and irritated and we're ready for this to be over, And there are times when we're like, I see the kids and they're bored and I'm like, hey, why don't you do something? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Asian Now article from Wednesday. I'd like to see if that's been confirmed yet, Tom. It states in part, tourists are required to get PCR tests within 24 hours upon arrival. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
You want to say hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
โอเคเราต้องสวัสดีไหมสวัสดีอย่างเงี้ย
Sawadi. Sawadi, I'm single.
I'm single
Sorry. What am I going to say? She doesn't have any problem saying it, though. God damn it. Darn it. There you go, Gennaro. There's your in, man. You know, that would seem a lot more reasonable, to be honest. Especially if you're an older guy, you know. What do I need her to clean my room for? What do I need her to do that for? Seriously. I mean, first of all, I can clean my own room. Second of all, I got a wife. I got kids. You know, if I need any cleaning and I don't feel like doing it, they'll generally pitch in and do it for me. But thank you. I'm sure she would take issue with you saying that she's good for, all she's good for is cleaning your room. Fucking hell. Yeah, I mean, Andy, I know you've probably heard me say it, but because I've said it a million times. You want to come here as a tourist? You want to come for 2 weeks? You want to be the two-week millionaire? That kind of thing. Okay, great. Thailand is a fantastic place to come as a tourist. You can have especially if you're a single guy, man. You can, you know, you can have all your fantasies fulfilled. You can get drunk. You can dance. You can go to raves. You can go to the beach. You know, you can have beach girls, you can have city girls, you can go to nice restaurants. One of the things I saw in the video that I was talking about earlier, this Nana, maybe I should get a link to it, but this thing keeps falling down. Let me see here. I'm going to put the link up. I think this video it should be mandatory for everybody who comes here just to learn a little of the history here. And what's funny is I used to live right down the street from Buckskin Village. Buckskin Joe Village. Soy Zero. Let me see here. In fact, that was one of the first places, that was the first place that I lived. Let me see if I can get this here. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Let me see if this will work. Yeah, okay. I'm going to put this link up. It's a great video. He's got a great channel. To be honest, I wish I had the patience and the time and the energy to put together stuff like he does. Really, what I was going to say is, the Q bar was a hot spot a long time ago. The Q bar, the bed, but even before that, RCA, NASA, now Vegas. What is it? NASA Vegas is just a crappy kind of hotel apartment, and it's right where Ramkhamhaeng Boulevard goes into it, comes up, and then it's going to run into it goes all the way, and it'll go right up to Priti Banomyong, the street that I was on the other day, and what I've been talking about, that new hip area, and it used to be where there's a big Starbucks there. To the right, on the right, if you're coming from my area, from Ramkhamhaeng, on the right-hand side, there's a huge Starbucks. There's a train station, a SkyTrain station. A CityLink is what it is. And that's where RCA used to be. And I used to go there, and I was like a fish out of water, man. I didn't know anything then. And the same with the Q bar. I didn't know shit back then. I was just like, wow, man, this is awesome, you know. Same with the bed. But, you know, I didn't go to them a whole lot. But, you know, once in a while I'd go. But, you know, there's a lot of old places that, you know, you see, and then you start remembering, and you know, like, I forgot the names of the places in that Soy Zero or Buckskin Joe Village. I forgot the names of the little pubs, but I'd go in there every once in a while, and it was known to me, the way I knew it was, a lot of the guys who were cheap or the English teachers would go there, and they'd go there and, you know, have a beer or whatever. That's how it was, but that was right across the street from the Soy where I lived. Hello, Paul. How you doing? And so, you know, I used to walk by that every single day. I mean, I walked from my apartment. I'd walk from my apartment and go down to Nana Plaza like every day. And in fact, in the afternoons, I would go. There was an old place called Woodstock there. It was a fantastic place. They had great food. They had some pool tables. They had darts. And there was a good camaraderie between the Brits and the Americans and the Aussies there. And then there was girls there, but like most of the time it was girls that were there to have a good time. They weren't there necessarily to be picked up. It wasn't like a place where you went to go pick up, you know, working girls. So yeah, you know, I mean, it's interesting to see that kind of stuff. And you know, I didn't realize just how long ago it was, because, you know, 15, 16 years ago, for me, that's quite some time ago, you know, 20 years ago. But anyway, that's right, Steve, that's right, yeah. I never was into that whole, you know, the dart league or anything, but that was believe me, that was a happening little spot. People would go there in the afternoon for their lunch, and sometimes it would be just completely quiet. There'd be like one person in there. In fact, that's where I met my friend Scott. And he and I used to go there all the time. But if you went there at the right time of the evening, oh man, the place would just be packed full of people. Played for Square One. I mean, one thing that I really didn't remember that it was a couple years after I came here that they started building the SkyTrain, and I started seeing things about it. And I didn't even register. And they talked about the tunnel, how there was a tunnel between Soy 5 and Soy 7. I didn't even think of it as that. To me, it wasn't anything iconic. It was just, if you wanted to cut through, you just went through. And there were girls getting their hair done and their nails done, and there were pool tables and you know, little gaming machines, and there was just all kinds of stuff. So that was pretty cool. And you know, I have taken you guys through on Soy 7, and you know, the beer garden there, I don't know how it is now. I suspect right now it's not very busy. But back in the day, man, that was you go in there and there was a couple hundred people just standing there, hanging out, drinking beer, talking. You know, that's where you would go to meet expats, one of the places. And, you know, there was all kinds of women there. It was in somewhat, it was the daytime version of Tarme, in that it was like the Star Wars bar. You know, you go in there and there's like, you'd see some old woman and you're like, and she's like plying her wares. And then you'd see some little bebopper, you know, bouncing around, and then you'd see, you know, the hardcore ones, and then you just had all kinds of people, and you had expats from all over the world, and it was crazy. And it was, you know, it was a pretty laid back. You didn't have many problems there or anything. So, but times change, you know, and now the place is completely dead. You get down that soy, and I've taken you guys down that soy, and it's all tin, you know, corrugated tin walls. The beer garden is still there, but I've never seen it very busy. Anytime I've been there in that area in the afternoon, it's never been busy. All right, let me go continue here because I want to get through this, and yeah, I only got about 15 minutes here. Okay, for countries, for expats from, let's see here. Let me see how this works. Regional differences. Thailand was the only country not to rate missing friends and family or feeling trapped in the top 3 challenges related to COVID-19. Work/life balance and staying up to date with news ranked highly, but don't appear in the top responses for any other countries. Listen, by the way, you know, we got Steve in here in the chat. He lives down in the south of Thailand. He's always imploring me to come down there to the south. But Steve used to work for the Phuket Gazette. And I used to write for the Phuket Gazette about boxing. And I think I wrote a travel article or two, a couple. But he used to work for them when they were still around. And I think the Tiger is who took over the Phuket Gazette. But so he's been here longer than I have. The W district is popular for expats. Yes, I know that. It's very popular, and actually it's things get going. Even now they're starting to pick up. Went to the beer garden there when bars opened for a few days before closing. There was a few Thais, but only me and my friend is a Farang customer. At what time was this? Because, you know, the time of the day there is pretty important, you know, when you go there. But there was a time when that place, man, I mean, it was I've talked about this before. You know, there was a group of people. There was a group of regulars. Wow, 8 p.m.? Holy shit. There was a group of regulars, of which I was, you know, one of them, at least occasionally. And what they would do is they would go out. Maybe they would go to some little, you know, beer bar at Nana, or like what I would do. I'd go to Woodstock. There would be people at Woodstock. You'd go there. You'd go home. You'd get, you know, dressed for the evening. You know, shower and all that. Eat, blah blah blah, and then. You know, you pick a place to go. You pick an area. Okay, where's tonight? Soy Cowboy. Am I going to go to CM2 down in Siam Square? Am I going to go to Sheridan Rivas? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to start? And then you'd make your way, and maybe you'd go to Nana. And back then, things were open till like 4 in the morning, and like Terme was open all night, pretty much. And then you would end up, maybe you'd go in the late afternoon before you went out. You'd go to like the beer garden, and then you would go and make the rounds. A lot of people would end up at Terme, and that was an experience in itself, you know. But there were some nights you just went in, you walked around, and you were boring. And some nights you went in, and the place was just a wild party, you know. So. How many underground bars do you know of? Right now, I don't know of any. I just don't go to bars. In the old days, I knew of some. I knew of a few. Anyway, let me go on with this. Okay, so in Thailand, wow, the 3 top challenges in Thailand for expats were boredom, work/life balance, and staying up to date with news. I don't find that to be any problem at all. I don't find any of those to be a challenge. Yeah, okay, occasionally I get bored, but I don't. If I start getting bored after, the most I'm bored is a day or two. And then I tell myself, all right, so what do I want to do? I got to be able to do something else. The Old Therme was the only underground bar in Bangkok, and that's exactly where it belonged. Well, truly underground. I think he means underground as in, he's talking, Duke Nukem, he's talking about it's underground. You're talking about only certain people know about it. Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, I don't. Well, I told you I deleted the news apps off my phone because I don't want to. I don't want to know about this shit. What time is it? There was. The other thing is that there were places that I used to go to. This one. What was it called? Hot Shots. And they would stay open really late. Country Road on Sukhumvit Soi 19, when it was there, which it hasn't been there in years. It was a huge place, big, took up the whole corner. And they stayed open late sometimes, but I didn't really like that place very much. When I'm in town, I always enjoyed reading the Weekend Bangkok Post, very good articles. Yeah, you know what, Dallo? I'll tell you what, I do miss the whole printed, I like print editions. I still have not really grasped the whole Kindle, and I don't like it for me. I don't like reading PDF stuff. I don't like looking at a screen. I want I want to be able to go into the crapper with my book, or with a magazine, or with the Bangkok Post, and you used to be able to get, yeah. What was funny that I saw in that video that I've been talking about here is in the back of Terme. In the back of Terme were like the worst pissers that you could imagine. I mean, they just stunk. That's what I remember. I remember going back there to take a piss, and I'd always, by the time I had to go to the bathroom in Terme, I was usually 3 sheets to the wind, and I had to piss like a racehorse. But I still remember going back there and just going, whew. And there used to be an old woman, a real old woman. She had to be 80-something years old. She would walk around and get people their drinks for them, so that they didn't have to go up and stand in line if there was a line. And she would go up and get the drinks for people, and then you gave her a bit of a tip. And everybody just called her Mama. I remember her. And then there was always the same cop. He was a bit fat, big round head, big, gut. And, yeah, he was something else. He was a nice guy, though. He was a nice guy. Memories, But, I guess life changes, Most people's lives don't stay the same all the time. You don't see a guy usually who goes to a bar in like Pattaya. He's going to, Suzy Q or whatever the fuck the bar is. He doesn't go to that bar, and in like 1971 he's sitting on a bar stool, and then 50 years later he's still sitting on the same bar stool. Usually you don't see that kind of a thing. I understand what they are, Duke Nukem. They also used to get raided once in a while. There used to be one on, like, what soy was that? Not 15. I don't think it was 11. I don't know. I can't remember. You know, that's the thing. That's why it's great to have somebody that really looks into these things and goes back and they have all the dates and stuff like that. And I wish I did more. I was worried about photography back then as opposed to, you know, chasing skirt. Why do you keep retracting your messages? Just leave the messages up. It doesn't matter. Say what you say. It's no big deal. Jesus Christ. All right, let's go on here. Another country where boredom is the only place where boredom doesn't factor into the top 3 challenges is China. Well, this is a pro-China to me. This is a bit pro-China. For expats in the UK and US, they feel trapped and they miss their family and boredom. Same thing with the Singapore and UAE. In China, it's missing friends and family, feeling trapped, and loneliness. I could see that in China. So people don't feel lonely here in Thailand. They don't tend to be real lonely. If they are, they're not lonely for very long. There used to be a saying that I had. It wasn't a saying, it was a word. Next. That's how you get over, you know, if you had some Thai girl that you were into, oh, there he is. The one, the only, SDC. As opposed to VD. Singapore just extended expanded measures for another month. Yeah, I mean, I can't, you know, listen, that was a different time in my life. I don't know that I'd be going there now, even if I was single, you know, and the place was exactly the same. I don't know. You know, it was a good time. It was a good time. I have good memories, you know. That's the thing. I have a hell of a lot of memories. And another place that they talked about was Clinton Plaza. I think that's the one that closed in 2006. So it's been 15 years since Clinton Plaza closed down. And, you know, it's just crazy. Learning some of the language would help. Learning some of the language, I think it always helped. I don't remember that. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember it. I don't remember off the top of my head. You know, then again, like, really, when I was going out, like, hardcore, I mean, I remember some things, but man, there's a hell of a lot that I don't remember. You know, I mean, because it was kind of like I would, you know, when I was partying back home in the United States, it would be, you know, have a beer, have a shot of tequila, have a beer, have a shot of tequila. You know, I am so glad that I do not know any Thai. Why is that? I'm curious to know why that is. Oh, yeah, I remember the dresses. I don't remember the name, though. I can't even, you know, one thing that I didn't hear in the video, one thing I did hear was by Soy Zero, there used to be a place, it was a lawyer's, like a little glass building, and it had all these placards of, you know, the prices and what you can do, what they can do for you, and all these kind of things. And I remember that vividly, because I used to walk by it all the time. But also in the corner of Nana Plaza, when you walk, first of all, Nana Plaza, in the center, there was nothing there. It was a shopping center before. But there was nothing in the center, and then they started building bars. But if you were to go into the plaza and immediately turn left and go up the stairs, there used to be a place where they would take care of your visa, take care of your passport and your visa and your extensions and stuff like that. and I used to go there. I went there a couple times, and you know, you bring it in. It's like, okay, you know, you come back 2 days, 10,000 baht, you know, something like that. You go, okay, boom, they took care of everything for you. They handled the whole thing for you. They were an agent, and you know, they're long gone. I don't know why. I don't know if they moved somewhere. I have no idea. This thing, I don't follow up with all the shit. You know, I'm not. I don't have time to really, you know, think about it and research it. I should maybe, but well, I was a little upset when they took down Clinton Plaza. They also, what was that place on Soy 6, 8, 10? What was it? Soy 8? Which was the one where they demolished in the middle of the night? They demolished all the all the bars. They just demolished all of them. I think it was 8 or 10. I can't remember. And I never went to any of those. I think it was 8. I can't remember. But there was a row of bars there, and then in the middle of the night there was some disagreement, and they just smashed it down, and then, you know, they had a little bit back and forth, and then that was the end of it. Yeah, Duke, you know, that's understandable. I understand that, but they don't get away with it for very long. Yeah, Washington Square. I didn't go to Washington Square all that much. And the reason was because at that time, I was younger. You know, I was much younger. I was in my 30s. And I was like, oh, that's a place where a bunch of the old farts go. But once in a while, I would go, okay, Dowla, take it easy, huh? Yeah, but I didn't go there because, for the most part, I thought it was, you know, where the old farts all went. 10 more years. It was the center of the... That's right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Actually, now that I think about it, I remember it was big with the darts and the whole thing. Yeah, pretty interesting. I mean, you know, listen. You really want to go to, like, dive bars? Go to Cambodia. Lots of dive bars and little, you know, knock shops that were just, they were not for the faint of heart. That's what I'll say. You know, you didn't go into these places if you weren't a little bit seasoned. You didn't go there, you know. But yeah, there were places. I mean, there's places where, you know, once you've been in a place for a long time. I mean, listen, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to Bangkok or to Thailand or Cambodia. I'm just not. I don't have the greatest memory, and I don't spend a lot of time researching stuff. And quite frankly, most of the stuff, the way that my mind works is, if it's not real important, I don't worry about remembering it. If I remember it, I remember it. If I don't, I don't. But, you know, after a while, you get very comfortable. I mean, you know, it becomes home. You want to become, slurs go right off my back like bird shit, but otherwise I would not be able to keep walking on. Well, there's not that many slurs, Scott, quite honestly. Rarely do I ever hear more than Fatlang, you know. I don't hear much more than that. Well, some people, they like that. They like not, I know, I got guys that are my friends that they speak, you know, Tao Rai, and that's about it, you know. They can say left, right, straight, you know. Jotini, Yutini, they can say things like that. They can say very, very basics, and they get along just fine. Yeah, my buddy sent me a video on that one too, and I'm gonna watch it, but I just haven't had a chance. I probably don't remember nearly as much about Washington Square as I do about Nana. Well, you know, it's funny that you say that because my wife probably has sworn at me in Thai like once in all the time we've been together. Now, in English, that's a different story. You know, now she never calls me a buffalo. I never hear anything like that, and I don't hear that coming from Thais. I don't know where you live, but that shit don't fly here. You know, somebody calls you that, that's really, really rude. Maybe out in the villages they might do that a little bit more. I don't know. Well, when she swore at me, she was mad about something, and which I'm not going to get into, and I deserved it. If she says anything in English at me, in Phuket, okay. If she says anything in English at me, it's not really a swear at me. It's, you know, like, I don't know, it's more like a curse word. It's not a swear at me. But she never used foul language until she met me, you know. And now, but, you know, that's the thing. If she didn't speak any English or something like that, you know, it's a different relationship. If you don't speak Thai and they don't speak English, well then, you know, you're going to have to figure something out because you're not going to have the closest relationship, the deepest relationship. You still might have no problems living together, you know, having a great relationship, but, you know, it takes a different approach. It's still here. It's still around. It's not quite what it used to be. I remember going there a long time ago, like when I had just got here, and going through there, walking through there, and just going, wow, what an amazing little area. And you know, I was hungry, and I went into a place, and the guy goes, hey, you know, listen, let me serve you something up, and hopefully you'll like it. I think you will. And I ate some food. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember it was really good. And the guy was very, very nice. And then there used to be a shawarma place on the corner. Almost, there's a little alley that goes through, you know, the Soy Arab or whatever it's called. It goes through there and then comes out back onto Sukhumvit from Soy 3. And there used to be a shawarma shop there. And I used to go there because, first, the food was good, but because it was always so damn hot, and I would go in, there was air conditioning on the inside, I could sit inside, and it was always ice cold. And so I'd go in there, get a shawarma or whatever, and it was inexpensive. And then I'd go walk back down the street and go down to, the little beer bars in the Nana area. Makasan. Well, you know, I walked through Makasan quite a bit. Another area where there are a lot of Muslims are right here. Mainly Ramkhamhaeng. Because a lot of the Southerners come and they go to school at Ramkhamhaeng. So quite a few Southerners. And while all Southerners are not necessarily Muslim, there is a fairly large population. And I think if you look, I've had photos and videos and streams where I'm walking around this area, and you see girls with the hijab on, and you know. And the thing, hey, listen. They're always very polite to me. They're always very nice. I have absolutely no problem with them. It's fantastic to be you know, people are tolerant here, and that's what I like. You know, I think that's, you know, listen, I always say this, but, you know, like, people talk about, you know, they always talk about lady boys in Thailand. They, you know, a lot of times, make sure she's a lady, she's really a lady, and that kind of stuff. Okay, if that's what you're into, if you're into women and that's what you want, then granted, there's no reason why you shouldn't concentrate on that. But for those people who are into something else, whatever, say la vie, you know? What is que sera, sera? Whatever will be, will be. Let them be however they want. Be tolerant, you know? I mean, like, they're tolerant of others, and you got to be tolerant of their ways as well, you know? All right, I just got a message from Asia now that says Thailand set out 7 conditions for foreigners. Let's see here. Asian now. I think it was a good move for them to change their name, to change their brand. It broadens their reach. Still here, Richard. How you doing? Let me find out if I can find this latest thing that they just sent. Questions from my U.S. bank. Ooh, I gotta look at that one. Sometimes I can't stand them. Stand who? I don't know what you're saying. I'm not keeping with it here. Ministries, cost of da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. I don't have the latest here. It's not showing up on their website. I would say here, Thailand news. Hello, Neil K. Oh, you're into women, but sometimes you can't stand them? Is that what you mean? Again, to each his own, whatever. It's nowhere near me, Gennaro. Nowhere near me. Let me see something here. I'm trying to get this to come up here. Oh, this is questions about the U.S. Sorry, here's the news. All right, well, let me see if I can get my line account on my computer to go up. Everybody. PM drops the ball again as unfaithful Thailand demands what? Can't even keep up with all this stuff. What am I looking at? Line. Let's open that bad boy up. Richard, you are the friendliest person on this. I think you're one of the friendliest people in the chat. Is this thing gonna open or what? Richard loves everybody. I don't want to log in with my smartphone, damn it. Let's see. Okay, syncing messages. Let's see here. Mellifluous. All right, let me see this here. Oh, here's the guidelines. Let's see, I might have seen this already. Come from countries specified from Thai Public Health Ministry as being low risk. Okay, what countries are those? The only 5 countries that they've denoted, or are there more that they brought up? Have certificate to confirm that they've received 2 doses. Okay. Negative COVID test, 50,000 minimum health insurance. Well, that's great news. 50,000 is reasonable. I think it is very reasonable. have written electronic confirmation of hotel bookings, download and install a specific app upon receipt, and undergo PCR test, have negative test results before traveling. Okay, so that's easy. The PCR test upon arrival, some people might balk at that, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. However, if you test positive, then it is a big deal. Have written electronic confirmation of hotel bookings in Thailand. That sounds good too, because it doesn't say they have to be paid in advance. The negative test results. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't say anything though. Here's the thing that I'm seeing right here. It doesn't say anything about, okay, you're going to have to stay in one of their hotels. Are you going to have to stay in one of their hotels until you find out the results? Or can you just stay in your place and you're not allowed to go out? How are they going to take care of that? So, yeah, maybe a 24-hour quarantine. Yeah, it is risky to test on arrival, which is that's probably the biggest factor right now. If they got rid of that, I'd say it'd be a little bit easier. Is it worth to buy property in Phuket or Bangkok for living? I'm an Australian ATM. I am in Australia at the moment with my Thai wife. She kind of likes it here in Melbourne. Phuket or Bangkok, I would just say, depending on how much cash you got, and be very careful, because it can get quite expensive, you know, depending on where you are and what you want. And I mean, in Phuket and in Bangkok, if you're on the outskirts, then it won't be quite as expensive. Seems risky to test on arrival. How long to quarantine if test positive? I would think it's 2 weeks. Mellifluous? I don't know how you say that. I have never heard that word. Or if I have, I've seen it, but I haven't ever heard it spoken. How come it's not showing up? Here we go. Sweet or musical, pleasant to hear. The voice was mellifluous and smooth. Gennaro, you sweet talker, you. I'm 36 years old, but wish to retire Thailand one day. Yeah, I don't know about that, man, honestly. You're 36. I don't know if you're gonna like try to retire here before you're 50 years old, or how you're gonna work it. The only concern that I would have really is, you know, if you buy a place here and then for some reason you have problems staying long term, you know, and you can't make use of the house. So in that regard, I would make sure that you only spend what you spend what you can afford. You don't build a huge mansion, or just be willing to lose it or whatever, you know. And to be honest, you probably won't have any issues with something like that. But I'm always leery, you know. Like, if you buy now, the price is going to be lower than in 15 years, which is great, obviously. But what happens if things change and you don't want to live here? You know, that's probably the biggest concern. What happens if you don't want to live here in another 10 or 15 years? So smooth, it's worth $20 million. Robbie a bank. If I knew I could get away with it, maybe I would, but I don't think I can, so I won't. Can you get a PCR test result back in 24 hours? You're supposed to be able to, yes. But it depends on when you come in. You know, if you come in, they're supposed to do it they're supposed to test you right at the airport, and then you get your result like the following day. So what happens if you come in at 11 at night, they test you, and maybe they can't test until the next day, and they can't get back to you? I don't know. The most you probably have to do is like 2 days. Do I still go fishing? I haven't gone fishing in, well, it's been a couple of years now. It's been 3 or 4 years. In Florida, and then I went in Pattaya, and where else did I go? I went somewhere else. I don't go very much anymore. Not like when I was a kid, when I used to go all the time. Anyway, we are at the end of our rope here today. In other words, we're running out of time. Longhorns is due to arrive. I don't want to be streaming when he comes. He doesn't want to be streaming. He doesn't want to be in the stream. He'd prefer not to be. Make COVID test appointment prior to your arrival. I don't know how it works, or if that's set up in the system. I don't know how it's set up. It seems very positive. Let's see how it works. You know, I'm always skeptical, but I'd say the trend is positive, and it's looking good. You know, hopefully, I'd rather be a little bit pessimistic and be wrong than be super optimistic. Hey guys, don't worry about it. We're gonna make it. You know, and then I'm right. Because I just don't believe that that works here. Because they change every other day. So, you know, it's like, oh, no, we're not going to Rap God. I don't know where we're going. We're just going to sit here and have coffee and shoot the shit. You know? Why not just test at the airport or upon a run? Well, they do have to test. That's what they're going to do. They're going to test at the airport upon arrival. And then they get the results within 24 hours. Supposedly within 1 day. I don't think it's as you wait, you know, while you wait. 1, 2, 3. Selfie. Everybody wants selfie. Longhorns treat? Rap God? I don't think so. Although he wanted to go, you know. I just don't really get it, you know. He wanted to go and check it out. That's selfie. Oh, yeah. There we go. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you joining me once again. I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow. I might be, I might not be. As I said, I may turn this into a daily thing. But I may do it a little bit earlier. Okay, so Richard says start the show at 8 a.m. That I may do. 8 to 10 is better for me than 9 to 11 because I like to be at home where I can get stuff done before later in the afternoon when I start getting tired. And I do want to go a few places, but I think that Longhorns and I will probably end up going to Pattaya sometime next month. That's probably going to be our little trip. So that might be fun. We'll meet up with Mr. Bob and maybe a couple other people. Could be fun. Could be a little crazy. Who knows? I don't know. What's today? Today's Thursday. Why is the mall open now? Is today a holiday? Holidays? I don't think it is. (2021). What is this, November? No, we're in October. Shit. October 13th, no, October 22nd, which is tomorrow. So maybe they're considering this is, this is actually, tomorrow is Chulalongkorn Memorial Day. So I don't know, maybe because today is Buddha Day, they're considering this the weekend or something, so they'll open up at 10 o'clock, I don't know. But they've opened early here, so for what that's worth. For anybody who's going to be here at the mall or at any other mall. Thank you, all of you, for your mellifluous words, your sweet musical words. Thank you for joining me. But it's time to go. So, do me one favor before you take off. Leave a thumbs up if you would be so kind. Thank you very much, Neil. You too. Yeah, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Really appreciate all the patronage. The numbers are going up. Since April, they've continually gone up. It's been slow but steady, and I appreciate that. And maybe it has something to do with the pandemic, or maybe it's because I'm streaming regularly, and I don't know. Who knows? I can't figure it all out. It doesn't really matter. All I know is things are looking good, going better, getting better every day, and I appreciate it. You guys make it happen. So that's all I have. Until next time, have a nice day. Take it easy, and I will talk to you all later. We all love you. Thank you, Richard. I love you all. How do they do it? What is the little thing there? How do they do that? Is that what they do? They go like this? I don't even know how to do it. I've seen my kid do it before. I've seen some people do it, but I don't know how they do it. I think it's like this. Oh, it's like this or something, right? That's supposed to be a heart. Can't get with all this new age shit. Anyway. All right, well, thank you very much, and I will see you guys later, all right? Take care, Paul, take care, Exeter, everybody here, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys later, all right? Thanks again. Cheers, cheers.